Hello everybody and welcome to day number 13 of our 15 days on board the Marella Voyager.
We're getting towards the end now.
No.
Oh no. Where are we today? Day 13?
We are in the beautiful island of St. Vincent.
Oh, the one we've never been to before. Apart from in 2010.
Yes, we have been here before. I still don't remember it to this day, but Mike says it was amazing. So we're going to tell you on how we thought our land-based trip was today.
Yeah, I mean, we love being on top deck this morning because we were back to the hills and mountains that we were used to with these.
Yeah, because Guadeloupe was really flat, wasn't it?
Guadeloupe was so flat, so to see the really lush hillsides and the colourful housing was great. So it was good to be on top deck this morning.
Lovely. And then, of course, we left the ship onto the port, and I was actually really surprised at how beautiful just the port was, the gangway bit.
The port is really pretty there, I think, because you get off and you're right close to the land. And so you've got the beautiful clear water, but then you've got the lush hillside, and it is very pretty.
So, of course, beauty aside on the gangway, we then walked into the actual port shops, the port area, which I thought was quite impressive. It wasn't massive.
No, but it was lovely because on most of the islands, and this one was no different, we had a band playing as we walked in, and they got the really colourful sort of Caribbean shirts on.
We did.
And it just puts a smile on your face.
It put a smile on my face. However, what didn't put a smile on my face was the fact that you can't get free internet there. You've got to have a drink in the bar to be able to access the Wi-Fi.
But next to the bar, there was another band.
Yeah,
so I was smiling again.
Bands everywhere, no Wi-Fi. No broadband, but loads of bands.
Yeah. But anyway, we weren't there for the port.
No, we weren't. We were walking straight through, weren't we?
Where were we going?
We were going to the botanical gardens. Now, I love a botanical garden because I think botanicals and I think of gin, but I was wrong.
I don't get that.
Gin's botanicals, isn't it?
Oh, okay. I like gin as
But
well.
anyway, today we had to make our perilous walk, I'm going to say, to the botanical gardens. But let's start off with, at the end of the port, out of the gates, onto the main strip.
Well, I think, first of all, a couple of tips. If you're going to do this trip to the botanical gardens, then it was really hot there. And it's about a 25-minute walk.
Yeah, it was.
Take water.
Oh, yes. Definitely take water with you, because I think we'd lost about a litre of water before we'd even got there through our bodies. Sweating big time. But obviously, our friends were very fortunate to have like an eSIM package. So we were able to get Google Maps on his phone to be able to direct us there. I think it would have been quite hard to have walked there without it.
I don't think we'd have found it if we hadn't have had some directions
so a
to
map
follow.
would have been handy.
So if you haven't got the eSIM or you're not likely to have Wi-Fi, then print out a map with your directions.
Or even, before you go, now you're watching this, screenshot a map so it's in your photos, then you've got your map there on hand.
That's good thinking.
On the spot tip.
But also, walk it before you go.
On Google Maps. That's what I do.
That's
what I do, yeah. It doesn't mean actually walk it before you get there. It means like go through Google Maps and see the route. Because it's not actually that hard of a route. However, it is a lot of uphill climbing. But first of all, let's start off, Mike, at the beginning. So the high street, tell me a little bit about the high street.
Well, you come out the port gates and straight away you're onto a busy road. And there were lorries, cars. And we were there on a Friday. And I don't know whether it was because it was market day that day, but it just seemed to be extremely busy.
And goodness, wasn't it busy? I mean, I was dodging cars left, right and centre. Like that, you know, they were selling things at their boot. I remember at one point, I even had to stop off in a shop that sold hardware, I think it was, just to get the aircon. It was an absolute nightmare. It was noisy, it was busy. But sort of, that's what you love.
Well, I love seeing different cultures. And as I say, I don't know whether this is every day it's like that, or whether it was a specific market day. But yeah, they were selling out the cars, like you've said, and it was just weird.
It was weird, and it was really busy, but there was some really pretty bits in there. I mean, I remember the War Memorial.
Yeah, the War Memorial was beautiful. That was for the Second World War. And I mean, the area around it with the palms and the green grass, it was very pretty.
And churches, there was a few churches.
Yeah, I have to say though as well though, be careful because in some of the places there's lack of pavements.
Oh God, yeah.
So
and
if I remember right, this is where I developed a bad knee because where there were pavements, some of them it was quite a step.
You mean you
so
fell?
Yeah, by the end of the day, when we got back to the
Do you mean
ship,
you
but that's
tripped up?
later, I did not trip up. I didn't trip up.
Also, what added to the beauty, I found, because I love a church, and there was quite a lot of churches.
Yeah.
And now I remember vividly that when we got to a certain point up a hill, we came to a very big open graveyard and church,
Yeah.
which was quite nice, quite modern. But on the other side of the road from that church was another church, and it was a Catholic church, but it was very old looking and Gothic. Can you remember it?
I do.
It was a bit vampire-y, but
It was a bit like a horror movie.
It
It's something
was.
you'd see in a horror movie.
But
It was very black.
it wasn't
and
just a
dark.
church, though. It was half church, half...
Yeah, I think
school.
it was it called the Assumption of Our Lady
It was.
Chapel?
It was. Never
And
assume.
It's it's still a chapel, but it's also a school, and it was building commenced in 1823, so it's quite old.
And what was really interesting about that place is when we went in, it was free to go in, and you can give a donation if you want to. But what I found interesting was in the middle there was a courtyard, and in that courtyard there was beautiful statues with a pond and lily pads and gorgeous flora and fauna and all that sort of stuff. But I was actually blown away because I wasn't expecting it.
All right.
Alan Titchmarsh.
Yeah, there we go. Charlie Dimmock, I was going to say.
Wow. But I wasn't expecting it.
No, nor me. It was very pretty. And of course, it is like a working chapel still, because there were nuns there. I think there's a school there. And we walked into the chapel, and I thought, oh, this is very small. It didn't look very big. But as you walked past all the pews and you came to where the pulpit was, it sort of opened out, and it was massive.
It was massive.
But it was definitely worth a look inside. It was beautiful. Whether it's always open, I don't know.
No, I'm not too sure either. So, little tip for you: if you're going that way, make sure you stop off at that church. It is really worth the look. And then, of course, onwards and upwards with Karen up the hill.
It was definitely upwards.
It was definitely upwards. But I see. I don't remember this, but you say it was there, and there was a football stadium on the left. I was so knackered, I wasn't focusing. But Mike says it was a football stadium.
Yeah, we passed a football stadium. I'm not sure. I presume it must be.
Sure, on cricket, they love their cricket out there, don't they?
Is it Georgetown? Isn't it? I think St Vincent. Whether it's their local team, I don't know. But there was definitely a football ground. But I think you were distracted because somebody was doing an act of kindness to one of our favourites. Dog.
Yeah, I don't want to talk about dogs. There was a couple of dogs there that obviously were homeless, and someone was feeding one of those dogs, but there was also another dog, and a lot of, let's just say, I don't know what word to use there.
No, let's move on. It was quite sad, but it was lovely to see the locals helping out this homeless dog by bringing it food.
So, as we navigated our way through roads with no pathways and cars flying everywhere and
the hills
everywhere, we finally reached our destination. So whether we were very, very sweaty, yes, we were. There was no aircon. And we were finally at the St. Vincent
Botanical Gardens.
St. Vincent or Georgetown? Either or.
I don't know, but
it's one of the oldest.
I think there's only one Botanical Gardens, and it's the oldest botanical garden in the Western Hemisphere.
Oh, is it Western?
Yes, and it dates back to 1765.
Well, look at him with his history lesson. But anyway, we wanted to go in because we were desperate. I was a little bit grouchy at this point, and we were being hassled by tour guides. So we paid $2 entry to get in, and we refused a tour guide. However, Mike has read since then the tour guides are actually really good.
Yeah, because I think $2 is a bargain. It's really cheap entry. But we didn't really want to be tied with having to walk around with a guide. But I have read that if you want to spend $6 on a guide, they are so knowledgeable. They'll point out all the flowers, the trees, the plants, the wildlife. So definitely worth thinking about if you've got the time.
Yeah, definitely. But unfortunately, we weren't there for that. We were there for the pure beauty of it and a little walk around. So before we start to discuss with you what's on offer at the Botanical Gardens, I must say to you all that there is free Wi-Fi there. And I was shocked to find this myself, but there is like a government free Wi-Fi there. And it was quite strong, I found. But what did we do first in the Botanical Gardens, Nick?
Well, obviously we followed the path. And the first thing we saw was this beautiful colonial style house, which we think might have been the gardener's
Lucky Gardener
lodge. But it was very pretty, wasn't it?
It was. And I remember all the different flowers and things that were around there. But the smell, because it was a hot day, everything was just so scented. It was amazing.
Yeah, it was beautiful. And remember some of those views down where you could see the sea?
Beautiful.
It was really pretty.
It was pretty, and if I remember rightly as well, one of the main attractions of this place, it had a bird aviary. It's aviary, yeah.
It's
an aviary.
Yeah, it's place for where they try and preserve the St. Vincent parrot. So I think they sort of try and ensure that
they protect
keep going.
Them. Yeah, they protect them. So it was a really confusing time though, because even though it was a beautiful place, it was also Christmas, and there was a lot of Christmas decorations going up as well. So there was a lot of gardeners out prepping for that sort of stuff. But we saw a lot. We even saw some absolutely fantastic trees. Now, that sounds odd, but there was one tree there specifically that was almost like a cross between a redwood and a banyan tree.
You have a thing for trees, don't you?
I do love a tree.
He does love a good tree.
I do. But no, there were some beautiful trees there. Like Mike said, there were some beautiful scenic shots down towards the sea as well. What else?
Mark, can you remember what we saw that was blowing all the way down that bank? And somebody was chasing them.
Blowing?
Was it coconuts? I don't know. I don't think it was coconuts, was it?
No.
Can't you remember there was something going all across the lawns? No, I'm making it up. Obviously.
Moving on.
Well, the other big issue that we had while we were there is because of the walk there and the fact that we'd had all our water, we thought there'd be a cafe or something to get a drink. And
well, I was sure that someone had said there was a bar there. One thing we forgot to mention was the fact that there was lots of hummingbirds. Now, we saw hummingbirds for the first time ever in about 2008 in Cuba. I'd never seen them before. They're literally the size of your thumb.
They are
amazing. So they, to me, were more impressive than the Georgetown parrots, not the Kingstown. Marco's been saying Kingstown. No.
Kingstown, not Georgetown.
Yes, so it's not Georgetown.
St. Vincent, we're in Kingstown.
We don't know where we've been.
We've been to too many islands.
But anyway, it's the Georgetown.
Kingstown.
It's the Kingstown parrots, okay? But you will see all sorts of different birds there. They're just trying to protect that one. And what else did we see at the botanicals?
I think that was about it.
Oh, something we didn't mention is... hold on. I got this out. We didn't mention at the beginning, because I don't think we did. It actually costs $6 for a tour guide. So because we haven't got a clue about anything, it's probably wise.
I did mention it.
No, you didn't. No, it's probably important that you probably get a tour guide.
Yes, and I was just going to say the other animal we saw a lizard. Only a little one, but it was climbing up a green drain pipe. What are you laughing at?
Don't know. I think we should move on.
I saw it. And I got a video of it.
13, we are in St. Vincent and I am melting.
And I am dripping.
It's too hot. We are in the Botanical Gardens. We've walked about 1.2 miles from the ship. It seemed like 15 miles up hills. It is dead hot. We can't find a bar, so we desperately need a beer, don't we?
Yeah, it's very humid. Fortunately, we bought water, so that would be our first tip here. Bring your own water.
Yeah, definitely. We dreaded the walk up, and now we've got to walk back down, but we're going to try and find a bar to have a beer, and hopefully you guys will enjoy our video on St. Vincent.
Yep, see you all later. Bye.
So, our overall review of the Botanical Gardens wasn't that great, and here is the reason why. Michael, tell us why you didn't think it was that great.
Right, it was quite a walk up there in the heat, so make sure you take the water. I would say that you don't really need more than about an hour to look round it. And I was a little bit surprised that it wasn't bigger and there wasn't more flowers. Yeah. It was mainly trees, bushes, and so it wasn't quite what I was hoping for.
It wasn't, and if you are on a cruise and you do suffer with any mobility issues, we would not recommend this trip that you do on your own.
And remember as well that we actually went into where the aviaries were for the parrots. Oh. And you couldn't see them. I don't know whether that was the sun that was blocking everything.
We didn't see them.
Could hear them.
Because we were looking for Kingstown ones, the Georgetown ones.
No, the St. Vincent one.
Those ones. But anyway, moving on. So we then descended back down the mountain, the hill, back to our cruise ship.
Well, it was easier walking down than it was up.
Well, I was so knackered I could have just dropped and rolled, if I'm honest. But anyway, same walk back as we went up. Nothing really special there, and then we got back to the port where we then, I think, went to the cruise ship for a drink.
Yeah, we'd have gone back to the cruise ship first. Once back at the boat, we didn't have lunch. That's unusual. But why didn't we have lunch?
Because it was our musical afternoon tea that afternoon.
It was the great musical afternoon tea.
It wasn't that great.
We love this experience on Marella
Discovery.
Discovery 2. It was fabulous. And if you haven't seen our video, I will put a link above. We tell everybody, do the afternoon tea if you're on Discovery 2. So we were expecting big things of the musical afternoon tea on the Voyager.
Now, if I'm not mistaken, we oversold this to our friends. We were like, we got to do it. It's the best thing in the world. Because like Mike said, we loved it on Discovery 2. But it wasn't really what we expected. So let's start off with the booking. Look, so we had to book it on the ship.
Yeah, we had to book it on the ship. It wasn't available beforehand. I think it was £15.95 each.
Which I do think is good value for money. For what you get, I think it's good value for money. But then we had to go down and actually book our table at the Silver Fork. So it wasn't something that you could do on there. We went to try and request a table, didn't we?
Yeah.
And we chose wrong because we chose a table where Mike and I had our backs to the actual performers.
Yeah. I mean, it was just not the same sort of venue as it is on Discovery 2. So on Discovery 2, you've got that lovely grand staircase that descends from the upstairs vista. And it just looks lovely when they all parade on with the tiered tea trays, whatever they're called.
The cake stands.
Cake stands, that's what I'm looking for.
But it was grand and it was great.
Yeah.
It fitted the title. But unfortunately, this one that was held in the Silver Fork wasn't that great. And the reason why is we had our backs to the performers and I didn't think the food quality was that good.
No, it was held in the Silver Fork restaurant and it just hasn't got the grandeur. Although it's a beautiful restaurant and we loved it as Silver Fork, it just didn't have the same grandeur. And it didn't.
I didn't like the low ceiling, because on the Discovery, it's open, it's massive.
Yeah.
But here it is low. And I wasn't that much a fan of the music as well. But let's not talk too much about it, Mike, because there is a video coming out.
Yes.
And it's going to be a dual video. So it's going to be Marella versus Voyager versus Discovery 2. So you'll get to see all of the afternoon tea on both and you can decide for yourselves.
And you will see why we raved so much and was saying go to everybody that was on Discovery 2, the musical tea, but where we would say, maybe if you've not been to it, maybe we were sort of affected because we'd done the other one.
So unfortunately, it wasn't great for us. We actually did walk away without eating virtually anything. That was probably because of me moaning quite a lot. And I think it might have spoilt it for our friends as well. So boys, if you're watching, sorry.
Yeah, I mean, there was a couple of other issues, such as the music and the songs they sang this time. But all that will be in the video.
Of course, so we would have been hungry. So we're not going to describe what dinner we had that night. We obviously had dinner, which then led us on to our pre-theatre drinks, to the theatre show, which tonight was
Havana Nights, Cuba. You know, I don't know the words.
But I love this one. This was one of my favourite ones, just throwing my microphone everywhere, because it was so well thought out. The costumes, the music, the dancing, it was fantastic.
It just made you want to smile, didn't it? It was colourful, it was fast, there were some great songs.
Yeah, it was one of my favourites, definitely. And I think our friends Mark and Jack really enjoyed it as well.
It was a cracking show, so definitely if that show is on.
And again, the music was good, but it showcased the dance. It wasn't all about the music, it was showcasing the dancing, some great moves there, some really acrobat moves as well, if I remember rightly in there. So
it was just different because, you know, it was unexpected and it was really nice.
I love it. Get yourselves ready for the hottest night on Voyager. Welcome to Havana.
unfortunately, this was the night that our friend Mark fell asleep on my shoulder, which was ever so embarrassing. Bless him. And because we'd been out in the heat all day and it was sapping, so we were all knackered, and we thought it would be probably time for another night. So we went for our usual nightcap, and it was straight to the bedroom. But you were surprised in what was on the bed.
Yeah, I loved it when you went back and you saw these the towel animals. They do some great ones on Marella, so look out for those. And also, it was this evening that we had, and it starts to dawn on you how close you are to going home, we had the Time to Say Goodbye leaflet. Now, there were also with this, we had our luggage labels and also the boarding passes for the return flights. And we will go through some of this tomorrow because we have to start putting some of this into place tomorrow, particularly with your luggage arrangements. So we'll cover that tomorrow. And obviously it was
time to say goodbye.
And it didn't take me long to get to sleep.
No, I was asleep that early in that night. So, guys, this video is going to wrap up now.
I don't want to say goodbye.
We're going to have to. But we still got tomorrow. We still do something tomorrow, if you remember.
Oh, tomorrow. Tomorrow, my favourite excursion and the most beautiful island. I absolutely love St. Lucia.
I do as well. However, in true last day style, we might have got a little bit drunk on the boat trip. But hey-ho, you'll have to see the video for that one.
Well, we did the Pigeon Islands and the catamaran to the Pitons trip. And yes, it went a little bit haywire.
I think our boat was probably the party boat.
I think trying to reconstruct the Titanic wasn't the best idea on a catamaran.
No, but it was good fun.
We had a go.
We did. So look forward to that tomorrow, in the next video, not tomorrow, in the next video.
Oh, and we did a quiz as well.
Oh, yes.
So we've got a quiz, our one and only quiz tomorrow. How well did we do?
Well, how well did Jack do? No, we all contributed, but Jack was obviously the
Join us tomorrow to find just how many we got out of 40.
Did we win? We'll have to see. Anyway, guys, thank you.
Show as well. Diva show.
I can't remember that one.
Yeah, Diva show.
Was I in it?
Well, we'll have a medley to show, and that will remind you as well.
So on that one, we must say goodbye to everyone. We hope you enjoyed this video. Again, tell your friends, subscribe to this channel, click on the like button and the little bell if it's there for future content.
And we'll see you all soon.
Yeah, we will.
Bye.